She was already standing in my driveway when I got back from work, waving her hands like she owned the whole street. My lock was broken, hanging on the ground, and my Jeep was gone. "You can't keep this vehicle here. It violates HOA rules," Karen shouted as if she was the sheriff of the entire neighborhood. My heart pounded when I realized she had actually cut the lock to my gate and had my Jeep dragged away. The nerve of this woman. She didn't even blink when I said, "That's my private property. You had no right." She smirked and replied, "Oh, I had every right. Around here I decide what stays and what goes." I clenched my fists but stayed calm, because deep down, I knew something she didn't. That Jeep wasn't just any Jeep. It was part of my work with the police task force, and it contained sensitive equipment inside. Her stunt wasn't just an HOA violation. It was federal trouble waiting to blow up in her face. Neighbors peeked through curtains while she strutted around like a queen. She even pulled a paper out of her bag and slapped it on my door. "This is an official HOA notice. You are now fined and under review for removal from this community." I tore it down, glaring at the fake seal and the sloppy signature. It was a fraud, plain and simple. "You think you can scare me with this garbage?" I said, my voice low. She crossed her arms, tilting her head with a grin. "Scare you? Honey, I already took your Jeep. By tomorrow it'll be gone for good." That line hit me like a hammer. Gone for good? She had no idea what she was playing with. I pulled out my phone, already dialing a number she could never imagine. "Karen," I said slowly, letting each word sink in. "You just messed with the wrong vehicle. And the wrong man." Her smile faltered for the first time. Her confidence cracked, but she still tried to act bold. "Oh, please. Don't tell me you're going to cry to the cops. They'll laugh at you." "Everyone knows I run this neighborhood," she snapped, her voice louder so the neighbors could hear. A few doors opened, people stepping onto their porches, watching like it was a free show. She thrived on that attention, standing taller, pointing at me as if I was the criminal. "This man refuses to follow the rules, and now his junk car is gone. You should all thank me." Her words stung, but I forced a smile. I had learned long ago in the task force that silence can shake an enemy more than shouting ever will. I leaned against the broken gate and said, calm as ice, "Karen, you didn't tow a junk car. You stole government property." The crowd stirred, whispers flying. But Karen laughed so hard she nearly doubled over. "Government property? That's your excuse. What's next? You're a secret agent." I didn't answer. Instead, I pressed the speakerphone button. A deep voice came through immediately. "Lieutenant, do you have the location of the stolen unit?" The air froze. Karen's laugh stopped mid-breath, her eyes darting between me and the phone. The neighbors gasped. Karen tried to recover, waving her hands. "That's fake." "He's pretending. Don't fall for this." But her voice was shaking now, not steady like before. I stepped closer, lowering my voice so only she could hear. "You just tampered with a surveillance vehicle tied to a narcotics case. You cut my lock. You ordered it towed. Do you realize what you've done?" Her face drained of color. She stumbled back a step, gripping her fake HOA clipboard tighter. I didn't know. Nobody told me. It looked like an old Jeep." She stuttered. The neighbors murmured louder now, some pulling out their phones, recording every second. "Didn't know?" I repeated, my voice sharp. "Ignorance won't save you. You broke into my property, impersonated HOA authority, and interfered with police operations." I let that sink in, then added, "And the cameras on my house caught every second." Karen spun around, spotting the little black dome mounted under my roof. Her bravado collapsed completely. She ran her hand through her hair, muttering, This is a misunderstanding." But it was too late. The number on my phone was still on speaker, and the voice came again, steady and cold. "We're dispatching units right now. Secure the area." Every eye in the neighborhood locked on her. For once, Karen wasn't the one in control. She was cornered, and she knew it. Karen's eyes darted like a trapped animal. She wasn't done yet, not... "Karen." She snapped her fingers and shouted toward the end of the street, "Bring the Jeep back here now." And to my shock, a rusty tow truck actually started rolling in. She had called in some shady operator, a friend of hers, to finish the job. The driver looked uneasy, slowing down when he saw the crowd and the flashing phone in my hand. But Karen stormed forward, waving her fake clipboard like it was a badge. "Keep going. This vehicle is illegal. I authorize this removal." The neighbors gasped, some yelling at the driver to stop. One man shouted, "You can't touch that. That's his property." But Karen shrieked over him. I am the hoe. I can do whatever I want. Her voice cracked, her desperation showing, but she kept up the act. I stepped between the truck and my driveway, raising my palm. Turn that truck around, I warned the driver. This isn't a neighborhood squabble anymore. That Jeep is federal property, and touching it makes you an accomplice. His eyes went wide, his hand freezing on the gear shift. Karen slammed the hood of the truck with her fist. Don't listen to him. He's lying to all of you. He's just some deadbeat pretending to be important. And then sirens. The distant wail cut through her rant like a blade. Blue and red lights flickered against the houses as 2 squad cars turned the corner. The crowd broke into cheers and gasps, phones lifted high. Karen's face twisted in panic. Before the cops even parked, she spun toward the neighbors, trying to save herself. He staged this. Don't believe him. He tricked me, she cried, pointing at me like a cornered child. But the officers stepped out, weapons at their sides, eyes locked on her. One of them recognized me instantly. Lieutenant? We've got the report. Where's the stolen vehicle? Karen's jaw fell open. She staggered back, whispering under her breath, Lieutenant? You're really… She couldn't even finish. I pointed calmly to the tow truck, the Jeep still hooked behind it. Right there. She ordered the theft. She cut my lock. And she's been impersonating HOA authority. The officer nodded, signaling to his partner. Ma'am, put the clipboard down and step away from the truck. Karen clutched it tighter, trembling, as the entire neighborhood filmed her downfall. Karen froze, gripping the clipboard like it was her lifeline. This is all a mistake, she shrieked, her voice trembling but still trying to sound commanding. I'm protecting this neighborhood. He's dangerous, you don't understand. She pointed at me, her finger shaking. He threatened me. He's making this up to frame me. But the officer didn't even flinch. He walked right past her, straight to me, shook my hand, and said loud enough for the crowd to hear, Lieutenant, we'll handle it from here. Gasps rippled through the neighbors. A few even clapped. Karen's mouth hung open like someone had yanked the ground out from under her. I turned to face her, my voice calm but sharp. Karen, you broke into my property, forged documents, and tried to steal a police task force vehicle. You wanted power so badly. Now you're about to see what real authority looks like. The officer motioned for her clipboard. Ma'am, hand that over. She clutched it to her chest, stammering, It's official. I have the right. But when he ripped it from her hands, the truth was plain. Cheap printer paper. A fake HOA logo. Signatures that didn't match anyone. The crowd erupted, some neighbors booing, others laughing outright. Phones were recording every second. Her last mask cracked. She dropped to her knees, grabbing at the officer's arm. Please, I didn't know it was government property. I was just trying to keep order. You don't understand. He doesn't belong here. That line hit the air like a slap. He doesn't belong here. The neighbors turned cold, their faces hardening. One woman shouted back, He belongs more than you ever will. He served this country. Another man added, You're the only problem in this neighborhood. Karen's voice broke, tears smudging her makeup. But the officers didn't hesitate. They pulled her to her feet, cuffed her, and read her rights. She screamed for someone to help her, but nobody moved. Everyone kept filming. The same people she had bullied for months were now documenting her downfall. As the tow truck driver unhooked my Jeep and sped off, the officer looked at me and nodded. We'll charge her with trespassing, theft, impersonation, and interference with law enforcement property. She won't be coming back here anytime soon. I looked around at the neighbors, their faces lit by phone screens, relief shining in their eyes. And I spoke loud, steady, so they'd never forget. I didn't fight for this country to be told. I can't even park in my own driveway. No one, HOA or fake authority, has the right to take our freedom. The crowd broke into cheers. Karen was shoved into the back of the squad car, her screams muffled by the door slamming shut. For the first time in a long while, the street felt free, and as the patrol cars rolled away, lights flashing against the dark sky, I turned back to my Jeep. I unlocked it, sat behind the wheel, and whispered to myself, she thought she owned this neighborhood, but justice owns her now.